Okay, we're on a roll today, looking at coding in regression. So in a prior video, we looked at dummy coding categorical variables of regression and the logic, and so this screen should look familiar. And I hope you printed it out or have it next to you or something, because in this video then we'll take this and we'll put it into SPSS and run the analysis. So again, the variable, our predictor variable, is source of child's alcohol. And if you look at, if you run frequencies on this, this is again the youth risk behavior surveillance study. If you run frequencies on the original Q46, you'll see a lot of different categories. I recoded into just a few. So I combined this bought, took, and stole, for instance. So we dummy coded and we decided that it was reasonable to have do not drink, did not drink as the reference group. And so in our first variable, our first new variable x1, we compared bought, took, and stole to do not drink. And we also compared was given to do not drink. So together we test the whole variable, and then we get in the coefficients, we are able to look at how much bought, stole, and took differed from the reference group. So that means how much did, how many more drinks did children consume compared to when they bought, stole, and took alcohol compared to when they didn't drink at all. So clearly, we're expecting that to be significant. And then the same way here, given when they're given alcohol, how much more did they drink? And again, it's not great science, but it serves our purpose. So if we go to SPSS, and I would suggest working on this slowly. Here's the frequencies, just what I pasted into Excel, and then here's the other variable we'll use, the 5 or more drinks in a row, and how many days did a child drink 5 or more drinks in a row. And happily, 226 had 0 days. I mean, that's a lot of drinks, and a lot of drinks for a child. 18, I think like 18 to 12 to 18. And so notice here that the variable really is badly skewed. So if we were doing this seriously, and for more than just demonstrating coding, we would need to go through and carefully transform or consider the variable. So to recode, we go to recode into different variables. I never ever recoded the same variable because I want to keep that data set pristine in its original form. So we recode into different variables. Let me reset here. This is the variable labels. You develop your own style. Since I've been thinking about this with as variable names, I switched over to names, but you do what's comfortable. So this first dummy code will be if they got alcohol, got elk, versus, what a mess, hold on, what a mess. Pause here, it'll make me crazy later on. Got alcohol, and I would still put dummy code in here because I just want to remember. It's amazing how when you make these, you think, I will never forget. And then in a week, you've forgotten. So this has got alcohol by some means. And this was a dummy code. You could just put a label just a longer, there's a little longer name. Change. Notice the question mark changed to the name of the variable. Old and new values, and this is where refer to the piece of paper you have and when you do it yourself. Countless times I've tried to do this off the top of my head, and countless times I've probably made an error. So the first group 1, that's the did not drink. Well, they're our reference group, so we're coding them 0. The second group, well, that's got some bought, stole, took. They were coded 2. Notice this is the old value. This is a really versatile program. So this half has to do with old values, this new values. There are lots of options for recoding. We're just doing the most basic right now. Well, this first variable is this is what we want to compare. If they bought, stole, or took versus others, versus the reference group. Let's code it 1. And then the last group is if they were given. For this particular variable, whoops, sorry about that. For this particular variable, we're not including it because the focus is on whether they bought, stole, or took. So we add that. Perfecto. And then OK. This program module is incredibly flexible. I always check to make sure it's there. I'm a little compulsive, and I'll do one more check. But at the get-go, if you flip over here and you see that it's all zeros or all blanks or all ones, you know something's gone wrong. And better you find it now than, down the line and have to recreate a lot of work. So let's do the next one. Again, into a different variable. We could edit this. We could have given alcohol. Given alcohol. And I'll just edit this a little bit. And you click change, critical, that you see the change. Old, new. Now here, there are options. Clearly you could change values as you went. I worry, why not just start, particularly in the beginning, with a clean slate? So here we've got 1, and again, that was did not drink, and it's our reference group. We code it 0. 2, that was our bought, stole, took. Well, we already compared that, so that is 0. And finally, 3 is that they're given alcohol, and that's of interest to this variable, and so we code that 1. And we're there. And of course, I check always. And so I have 2 variables. Now, what I'd recommend, and there's a tendency you want to sort of get it done, but if you check and you find little errors now, it's so much better than down the line when you've got to recreate a lot of stuff. So I would run frequencies now, just double check. So here we've got, let me just get rid of this. We don't need it for this right here anyway. So did not drink is 170. Bought, stolen, took is 42. So this is the got, stolen, took. 42 matches the 42. Perfect. And the 203 is reasonable. It works out. 170 plus the 33. Then given alcohol, well, we had 33 that were given alcohol. We've got 33 here, so that also works out fine. And again, the 212 is just the 170 plus the 42. So we're good to go. I wouldn't skip that step. Now, I'll show you this just in plain old multiple regression. And Q44, that's the how many times did they have 5 or more drinks in one sitting. And we put in our 2 dummy variables, dummy coded variables. I'd encourage you to play around, just see what's interesting to you to look at. I mean, that's the way you develop those lifelong learning skills. It's fun. So, choose whatever you like here. I'm just doing the basics for you right now. So we have regression. Get the basic information here. And I'm not going to interpret this for you. I'd like you to give it a try and practice and go to your notes. I will post this output as well as the Excel output so that you can see and compare as you study this. So a couple things. I'll give you obviously the obvious hint. You can predict number of times people had 5 or more drinks in a row from how they got their alcohol. Which is obvious. I mean, that's not an exciting result given that we have people who don't drink. So, that is logical. And then we've got these 2 are significant. I'll let you interpret those. Notice this. The constant is 1. Now, remember, the constant is the mean of the group coded 0. That was the did not drink group. So this just seems a little bizarre. Well, this is why it's critical to go back to the coding. So we pop up here. Oh, look, 0 days is coded 1. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this means that the mean the mean for the group that did not drink is 0 days. Thank goodness. That if it were anything else, we would worry. This really emphasizes why it's so important to go and to actually look at how the data is coded. It makes the world of difference if you've got any chance that it's not coded as you might think it would be. So anyway, take practice, take a look, write out the regression equation, calculate some means, interpret the slopes, practice interpreting the confidence intervals. And then the next video, we'll talk about contrast coding and take a moment on that when we get that output and compare what's the same and what's different. So keep me posted on what's working and what's not, or what other topics you would like. And you'll see the contrast coding appear soon. All right.